Hey, also, a few have reached out to me and have been interested in getting an update on where we're at with the bus. And I apologize because I just been so busy. So much has been going on between trying to sell our house and trying to get this bus converted and make it an official RV that it's just, I haven't even had the time or energy to record videos like this. It is nothing anywhere near what I imagined. The energy levels that get depleted, you can't really plan on how that's going to feel. And so, I apologize that I haven't been better about these updates because I really, really did intend on being a lot better than I have been about that. But I did want to go ahead and post something because it's been a while, and I want to say this first before I kind of give you a quick tour of where we're at with it. Um, Remember to take a break, right? And one of the things that my wife Christine and I did this week is we decided that from like Sunday through Friday, we're not going to talk about the bus. We're not going to talk about the house. We're just going to be with each other, recalibrate with God, recalibrate in our relationships at home, and even with some friends. And so it's already paying off, and we're only the third day in. And I can't say it enough that when you feel the pressure, when you feel stressed out, and I know it's easy to get into that rhythm where you feel like, well, if I don't keep moving, I'm never going to get this done, right? So I can't stop. I don't have time to stop. I'm telling you, if you can do twice as much, you can do twice as much. If you take a break, renew your spirit, get refreshed and ready to do the things like remind yourself, even have time to think about why you did all the things that you've done or have all the things that you still have yet to do. If you give yourself a chance to renew why you did it in the first place, all that energy and excitement and everything comes back. And I'm already day 3 in, and that's starting to happen already. God is good. Everything's working out. The joy, the excitement is coming back again. And so I can't wait to see what's going to happen this weekend as we get back into it again. So, with that being said, let me kind of share with you where we are for those of you who haven't seen. So this is actually the start of our kitchen. We actually have some kitchen cabinets here. You can see the fridge. You got some monitors here, right? This tells us what our battery life is like. You got to measure that just like gas in a car. This will tell us where our water tanks will have one freshwater tank and 2 gray water tanks where everything drains out into that are mounted under the bus. This will tell us how full they are. Of course, a regular plug. And this is some outdoor lights. And I'm also going to add like a cell phone or cell tower booster to our bus so that we have quality internet connection for work and other things. Even it should be just as good to do quality video streaming even because this device I got was from a friend and colleague. The idea came from him, and so I went out and bought it, and I believe it's going to be a really, really good device to meet those needs. So that's what that is. This also serves as a charger for your phone and your devices and stuff. So that's what's going on here. This is shiplap that we use to start putting on the wall. We'll probably add some trim up here eventually. You got a piece of ceiling here that wasn't stained yet. So if you're wondering why is this color different than this, that's because we intended to do something different with the bathroom, which is over here. And we wanted to paint it differently in different sections of this piece. We have since decided not to do that. So we're probably just going to go ahead and stain it and poly it just like we did the rest of the ceiling here. So let me go back here and turn on some lights because it'll make it a lot easier to see everything. All right, so this here is the start of our bathroom. As you can tell, we have the floor pan in for the shower. That's where that's going to be. I already drilled the hole for the drain in the floor. And then in this corner here is where our toilet and a very, very small sink that is about the size of that blue piece of tape right there is what we're going to have here. I mean, remember, this is a tiny home. Everything's tiny. So I know you might look at that and go, wow, like all you're going to be able to do is stand in a tiny little square right here and turn to go to anything that you need in there. That's about right? Like all I have is about a 1 or 2 foot square to stand in there, either brush my teeth in the morning, go use the toilet, or use the shower. That's what tiny house living is like. On this side is our electrical setup. So this AC panel, this is what you're used to seeing in your house. We will have one of these as well inside the bus. I still have to fix all this wiring. I know it's a little sloppy right now, but that's because I'm not quite done with sorting that out yet. So once I get that kind of locked in, I will wire those up and make it look nice. I know some of you are going to yell at me about wire management. Believe me, I spent years doing good quality wire management. I know how to get it done, so it's going to be good in the end. This is our solar panel because we do have 800 watts of solar up top. That charges probably a third to half of our battery life per day on a real nice sunny day. This blue thing down here is actually what converts the battery power down there to the typical AC electricity that you see inside your homes. And then you have a DC panel here for DC electricity, which is what most of our bus is comprised of anyway. It tends to be more efficient. That's why I went with DC. This is not to get into the battle about is DC more efficient in general than AC, but in this type of environment, going straight from the batteries, which are DC power, to other devices that are DC power, you have you don't really see the loss that you see when you convert it from DC to AC, which is why I went this route. And I know lots of people have opinions on that, but that's why I made the choice. This here is going to become a little mini closet for the kids in their bedroom. You have a little heat duct down there, so we will have heat in a couple different spots on the bus. So it's going to be pretty cool when we hit winter season and it's chilly in here. Pretty certain that the heaters that I got, they're diesel heaters, will actually do a pretty good job heating this small space. Back here, you'll notice on both sides there are 2 bunk beds. The mattresses aren't in here yet, but if I flip these up, there's storage underneath as well on both sides, and then even underneath the bed down there, there's a small space where my foot is, where you can slide like a little shelf for storage there as well. So between the closet, the storage there, I think the kids are going to be all set. And then back here, you'll notice what we went with for our air conditioning. That is a mini split. The heat pump is actually mounted outside on the back. And this is the indoor unit. It supplies both air conditioning for the summertime and also some heat during the winter, but it only tends to work down to a certain temperature and it struggles, which is why I add in the other heaters for the more extreme temperatures. Just had that fixed up last week, so that's ready to go. And then here is our water tank. This is where we're going to keep our fresh water, which will ultimately be under our bed. Christina and I's bed will be back here mounted on top of this. And then I will actually have an office space in this little small section right here. That will kind of act as a seat. And then I'm going to build like a little mini desk right here against this wall where I can plug everything in. So that way I have a space that's separated from the front. Now you might be wondering, okay, where are they going to eat? Where are they going to cook? Where are they going to sit as a family, especially on a rainy day when you can't go outside? That does become an issue. So I already showed you there is a kitchen counter. We haven't put the counter on it, but that's the cabinets behind me here. But then also on this side, we're going to have more kitchen, right? And you're going to have mainly a small cabinet with a sink, and then you'll have the stove, which is a regular size stove but converted to propane. So that's where we'll cook our meals and wash dishes and the normal stuff that in any home. But here in these spots over top of these wheel wells on both sides, eventually what we're going to do is build some couches. Now these couches are going to serve really 3 purposes. One, the obvious thing, we're going to be able to sit on them and just kind of lounge and hang out. But they will also be built in a way that you can pull them out on both sides. They'll meet in the middle, and then you can have like a cushion or a mattress that can go over top of it, which will form like a spare guest bed. So that's the second purpose they'll serve, technically 4. Fourth, we'll actually be able to store some stuff inside of them, so they'll serve as some storage. But also, a table half will be mounted on one side. It will form the back of the couch, and when it folds down on both sides, right, it'll meet in the middle and form a large family table that we can all sit at. So schoolwork can be done there. Eating can be done there. Just hanging out and lounging can be done there. This will be a one big countertop, so we can actually set like a small TV up there if we wanted and watch TV. You know, all these things are done in a very, very tiny space, of course, but that's how we're arranging it all. So that's an update. Oh, and by the way, above my head here in 2 spots inside the bus, we also have these fans. These fans are really good at blowing air in or out of the bus. So that helps to regulate your humidity inside the bus, along with the mini split that's mounted back there. So that's all meant for air control, especially on days that aren't quite as hot or cold. It's kind of like that comfortable temperature outside and it's dry air. Rather than turning on your HVAC systems, you can just use these fans, and those fans ultimately will help control the airflow and keep your temperature at the place that you want it. There are also some security cameras mounted outside. I have outdoor lighting installed on the outside as well. And so what's coming up? In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be painting the outside, and I got to stop calling it a bus. It's really officially now a motorhome or an RV. So we'll be painting the outside of our RV probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks or so. So I'll have more updates on that. It's going to look a lot nicer once that's done. Also have to finish really 4 major systems. The plumbing for all the draining that are going down, and that'll be mounted underneath in the gray tanks underneath the RV. And then we'll also have our bathroom that will get finished, the back bedroom with our bed and the plumbing that's coming up from the freshwater tank. That'll get finished. And then this kitchen will ultimately be finished. So all of that is intended to be finished if possible. I know it's aggressive, but really in the month of July. So we definitely have our work cut out for us starting this coming weekend. Took some time off the day job coming up in July so that I can start hitting that stuff really, really hard mid-July. So there'll be another update sometime in the next couple of weeks, but I definitely wanted to share with you where we were. We do have a few more ceiling pieces to put on here above my head. But other than that, I mean, you could probably tell from the last video, we have come a long, long way. And it's really cool, you know, and that's the last thing I'll share before I sign off with this video. It's really, really cool because like you get to a point where you kind of just sit down and you look around at what's happened and what you've been able to accomplish. And you remember those days when you say, this is so big and this is so crazy. Why would anyone do something like this? I don't think we'll ever make it. And you hear about all the stories where people quit and gave up because it was too hard. And you hear the horror stories. And you even have those days where you want to throw in the towel and you're getting all angry, frustrated, depressed, whatever, you know, all kinds of emotions. But then you sit down and you look around at what you've been able to get through and you realize like anything is possible if you're just willing to keep pushing through. I heard it said this way in a book when I was on a run recently, that it's all about staying power, right? And now this book, it was in the context of relationships. If you want to, your relationships to last, you really have to stay in them, even when it gets hard. But the same is true for completing big projects like this. It's all about staying power. When it really, really gets tough emotionally, are you wanting to throw in the towel and make the choice to quit? Or are you going to choose to push through and keep on doing what it is that you intended to do? And really, that's rooted in why you're doing it in the first place. If your reason why is big enough, you'll always stay with it. And in the end, as you can see, it becomes worth it. You know, you look around and you start seeing what looks like an actual house developing. And there are no words for the joy that you experience when you get to push through on something like this and actually see it come together. So I want to be able to encourage you all as well. I know some of you are thinking about big dreams or have been for maybe 20, 30, 40 years, and you're thinking, I'm too old, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, it'll never work. I'm telling you, if you're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to make the sacrifices that are required and the discomfort and all the emotional turmoil that comes with it, it is possible. And let me tell you guys, it is worth it. I haven't even got to the point where I left yet, and it's still worth it. So please, 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 if any of you are thinking, I really wish I could, go forth, do it. start taking some of the first small steps to move in that direction, and keep taking small steps. It's not about big huge things overnight. It's very tiny, small, minute steps that you take over a long period of time that lead to big things like this. So hope you all have a blessed day. I'm so glad to have been able to share this, and that for those of you who are still following this journey, I'm thankful that you're willing to go on it with me, because it really does mean a lot. It's encouraging and it's inspiring to Christina and I that others do follow along with us on this journey. So hope that you continue to do so. Remember to lead well, live on purpose, and honor God with your life. I love you all. Talk soon.